Samalah. Saling tak tumpah. Apa lagi? Menyesalnya aku pakai baju hitam. Tanah.
Hey, Alan! Alan! You okay? Hey, Daryl! Something's wrong with Alan! I'm going down to help him! Call 911! No, wait! Don't go in the tank after him! Richard! Did you hear me? Hang on, Alan. I'll be right there. Hey, Daryl! Daryl! Alan appears to be unconscious at the bottom of the tank. Call 911. I'm on it. I'm going to secure the area to be sure no one goes in after him.
It's a typical day in your company's processing plant, and safety seems to be looking good from where you stand. As you walk around the site, checking on the various works, you notice people wearing PPE, procedures are being followed, and teams discussing safety during pre-start meetings. From the outside, it looks like working safely is a priority around here, but your data tells you something very different. At the weekly safety meeting this morning, the ongoing high incident rate remains a cause for concern. Something isn't adding up, and you need to figure out why. Daryl works in the processing plant. He is working with his crew when he looks up and notices two leaders approaching from the main office. This can only mean one thing: they are about to conduct a safety observation. He subtly reaches for his two-way radio. "Ducks on the pond," he says into the radio. I repeat, ducks on the pond. Daryl looks around the worksite and sees a flurry of activity. Everyone is quickly putting on their gloves, addressing any obvious hazards, and ensuring they are following the correct procedures. Ducks on the pond is the known code for leader approaching, and everyone knows exactly what they need to do when they hear it across the two-way. With a work culture like this, there's no wonder the data doesn't match the observed behaviour. The challenge from here is to create a culture where people choose to do their work the safe and correct way because they want to, not because they have to. We call this private compliance. A culture where employees see the benefit in doing things the right and safe way, even when no one is watching. Achieving private compliance is key to unlocking a positive safety culture.
Driver tiredness and fatigue is a killer on our roads. Too many rollover crashes and head-on collisions are caused by drivers falling asleep behind the wheel. Signs of driver tiredness include struggling to keep the eyes open, yawning frequently, and slow reaction times. A tired driver may also wander across the centre line and drift across other lanes, over road markings, or follow other vehicles too closely and have trouble remembering the last few kilometres. Stop and rest before it is too late. There is no quick fix or miracle remedy. Our bodies simply need to rest. Most adults need a minimum of 6 hours of sleep per night. When we don't get enough sleep, our brain cells do not communicate effectively, which in turn affects our visual perception, physical reflexes, and memory. For your own safety, always start your journey refreshed and well rested. To remain alert and focused behind the steering wheel, plan your journey and your rest stops. After 2 hours behind the steering wheel, or every 200 kilometers, find a safe spot and take a break from driving. Stop, refresh your body and mind before continuing your journey. Let's share roads safely and responsibly. Visit the website arrivealive.co.za for more information on road safety and preventing driver tiredness.
To sample a large tank, you first sample 2 feet from the top. Then, take a measurement 4 foot further down, which actually means 6 foot total from the surface. Then, another 4 feet down, which is actually 10 feet from the surface. Another 4 feet down, which is actually 14 feet from the surface, and so on, until you reach the bottom. What is important is that at each stopping point along the way, you must consider the response time of the detector based upon the manufacturer's guidelines and pause at each distance long enough to allow the gas to travel through the hose to reach the sensor to get correct readings. In this video, we will show you the NIOSH recommended technique of roll, pull, and hold when inserting foam earplugs. With clean hands, roll the earplugs up into a small, thin snake with your fingers, using one or both hands. Then, reaching around the back of the head, pull the top of your ear up and back to better open the ear canal. The rolled-up earplug should slide right in. It is important to hold the earplug in with your finger, as far as it will go, waiting 20 or 30 seconds to allow the plug to expand and fill the ear canal. This roll, pull, and hold technique will allow for the best hearing protection from when using foam earplugs.
Sekiranya Anda menunggang pada kelajuan melebihi 80 km sejam, kesan pelanggarannya sama seperti Anda jatuh dari bangunan 5 tingkat. Mungkin Anda menempah maut. Adakah berbaloi melebihi had laju sehingga kehilangan nyawa? Patuhilah had laju. Tunggang dengan cermat. Ingatlah orang yang tersayang.
Hey, is somebody working on this machine?
I'm cleaning back here.
Making safety a priority at work can seem complicated and time-consuming. But there's a single, simple tool that can also make a huge impact toward eliminating the chance of being injured. It's fast, it's portable, it's free. It applies to any kind of work, in any kind of business, and even at home. It's a risk assessment, and most likely it's something you already do, at least informally, when you're not at work. You look for cars before backing up in the parking lot. You scan for toys left out on the stairs before you step. You evaluate the ground under your ladder before you climb. Chances are, you've paused and said to yourself, someone could get hurt. That hesitation is a risk assessment. What if you turned this subconscious activity into a more deliberate one and applied it to the work you do each day? It could make a big difference in your safety, in a place where the risks are likely even greater. According to the National Safety Council, a worker is injured on the job every 7 seconds. Many of those injuries are caused by hazards that could have been reduced or eliminated altogether. But the truth is, even the very best safety equipment and protocols can't compare to the value of simply noticing, then removing the risks when possible. And that's where risk assessment comes in. And practicing risk assessment can make you the most valuable member of the team, whoever or wherever you are. How do you perform a risk assessment? Well, it's as simple as jotting down the answers to 3 questions. 1. What are we going to do? 2. How could we get hurt or damage equipment? And 3. How can we prevent those injuries or damage? It's really that simple. The first question, what are we going to do, sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised by what it can reveal. Discussing a day's task and putting it in writing gets all team members on the same page and usually uncovers differences in what everyone is thinking. This question helps clarify who's involved in the task, how the various parts will be accomplished and in what order, the equipment you'll use, what the task looks like complete, and more. The next question, how could we get hurt or damage equipment, probably has at least several answers, from minor to more extreme. If you've performed a task many times, you might have seen someone get hurt already. That's an easy start to your list. As you continue to identify risks, make sure everyone contributes to answering this question. Something one person notices may be very different from the next. The last question, how can we prevent those injuries or damage, is where the written risk assessment produces action. And it's another question that's best answered with some good discussion and collaboration. Often, risk preventions are easy to implement, but also easy to overlook. And sometimes, you can't eliminate a risk, but just talking about it makes everyone more aware to look out for themselves and each other. What are we going to do? How could we get hurt or damage equipment? And how can we prevent those injuries or damage? These 3 questions make up a simple risk assessment that can take minutes to perform, but save countless hours and costs in the long run. And since you've written them down, you can refer to them the next time the same task is on the docket. So, we promised a safety tool that's quick, free, portable, and effective. And now you have it. Now, take the lead, in your workplace and in your home, at spotting and reducing risk. For more information on becoming a risk-spotting, safety-promoting MVP, check out the many resources at Montana State Fund. Some companies make products. Some provide services. Some have a handful of employees. Some have, well, a lot more. And you might not know it, but all companies, big or small, have a safety culture. And that's not to say all safety cultures are the same. Some are positive and effective, and some are negative and downright dangerous. Essentially, the safety culture of a company is the shared set of values and practices that guide the behavior of all employees. It's what employees do and how they act, even when nobody is watching. That's important because the 2 biggest causes of workplace accidents are unsafe conditions, including faulty equipment and dangerous environments, and unsafe acts by employees. In fact, 90 to 95% of all workplace accidents are caused by employees' unsafe acts, usually because they think they're doing what their supervisors want them to do. If employees are rewarded for increased productivity or meeting production deadlines, even though safety procedures were ignored, this moves the safety culture from positive to negative and potentially dangerous. Good leaders know that safety rules and equipment are critical to preventing on-the-job accidents, lost productivity, and big costs to a company's bottom line. So, to improve your company's safety culture, first make sure the top levels of management are on board. Next, create a safety committee made up of employees from all ranks of the company. Then, conduct a company-wide self-assessment of your current safety culture. This starting point will help identify what's working, what training is needed, and help the Safety Committee determine goals and monitor the company's progress. For trainings, remember to include not only safety and health training, but also team building and hazard recognition. And always encourage open communication throughout the process. Hold sessions with management and supervisors first, then use team meetings, regular company-wide communications, and periodic updates to train every employee and keep the momentum going. Finally, incentivize. The Safety Committee should create a system of accountability and recognition. Incentives for safe behavior and hazard mediation can range from a round of applause at a company meeting to company swag. At the end of the day, a positive safety culture is up to all of us. And it benefits all of us when we go home and enjoy everything a Montana lifestyle offers. For more tips on building a positive safety culture where you work, check out the many resources available at Montana State Fund.
There you are, minding your own business, when you slip on a banana peel, trip over an office chair, and fall off a canyon cliff. Yeah, okay, we're being a little absurd, but slips, trips, and falls do happen in the workplace. A lot. About 2,000 Montanans file claims for them every year. Many result in extended lost work time. Some are even debilitating. So today, we're going to cover 3 major contributors to slips, trips, and falls. These include walking surfaces, obstructions that lead to tripping, and human factors like inappropriate footwear. Let's start with surfaces. For those areas you can control, choose flooring that has a high coefficient of friction, carpet or rubber, rather than polished wood or tile. If a surface has a loose covering like a torn carpet, fix it. If there's a change in levels, such as a step, mark it with paint or a sign that says, "Watch your step." In less controlled environments, like sidewalks and parking lots, just make sure you keep walkways as free and clear as possible. That includes snow, ice, and water. Nicely done! In virtually any work environment, office, construction site, store, warehouse, circus, there's a real potential for walkway obstructions. Hey, stop playing around. A good way to prevent obstructions is to make sure everyone is looking out for potential tripping hazards and to designate a member of your safety committee to be watchful. In really dynamic, high-traffic work environments like construction sites and shipping departments, designating walkways with tape can help create clear zones. Still, I bet you can guess what a big preventer of slips, trips, and falls is, can't you? Yep, common sense. If you know you have an icy walk from the parking lot, put on traction treads and don't wear cowboy boots or high heels. If you're mopping a floor, put out a caution sign. If you're about to climb a ladder, check to be sure it's on solid footing. And never try mopping a floor while climbing a ladder in high heels. In other words, think about your environment and how you move through it. So let's recap. Preventing slips, trips, and falls can significantly reduce workplace injuries. Choosing, repairing, and marking surfaces appropriately can make a big difference. Eliminating obstructions and designating safe walkways prevents incidents. And being aware of your environment and making smart choices can keep you safe, productive, and happy. Oh, very funny.
A worker was painting the wall of a building. He wanted to paint the walls adjacent to the ledge, but was unable to reach to it. He climbed out of the scaffold to reach the ledge and lost his footing. He was not wearing a safety harness at the point of incident. To prevent similar incidents, consider the following measures. Only work at heights when you have been trained for it. Wear a fall arrest equipment hooked to a secure anchor point when working at heights.
On February 23, 2022, an operator was reversing a forklift on uneven ground within a worksite. With an air compressor hanging from its fork by a sling. The forklift overturned and threw him onto the ground. The operator was not wearing a seat belt. The operator was sent to the hospital, where he passed away. To prevent similar accidents, consider the following measures. Operate the forklift only if you are trained and authorized. Do not hang loads from the forks unless approved by manufacturer. Wear your seat belt.
Two workers were operating a packaging machine at a factory. One of the workers was trying to pull out a film stuck inside the machine while the machine was in operation. The sealer head suddenly came down and crushed his hand. Two of his fingers had to be amputated. To prevent similar accidents, consider the following measures. Operate the machine only if you are trained and authorized to do so. Check that machine guards are in place. Follow the safe work procedure for machine operation.